Hello, and welcome to the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley, under the DFN Broadcast Studios, which I am also the CEO of. When I always tell people, I'm like, okay, if you are going to be a true leader, you have to live by example, show yourself humble, and be able to get in the trenches with everybody else to make sure that you're showing them how a leader should be. And I'm saying this because I have met this person shortly, but I feel like I've been knowing her for a long time that's coming on today. She is a true queen. And she's not only just a true queen, she's a queen colonel. The Queen Colonel Deb Lewis. I have to say, this woman is so extraordinary, and she leads by example through her whole life when she was basically serving this country, and even beyond that. She was always serving people no matter what capacity she's in. And right now she's in the capacity of really honing in, especially to women, that to make sure they discover that when life just throws you down, when you just kind of just say, well, what do I do? That you choose, you make that choice to get back. And she has made that choice over and over again, showing that example of how a leader should be, so we can all use that example and say, you know what? If Queen Colonel Deb can do it, she's about to use this, then I can. So with that said, I don't want to take up the time with me, because you have to hear this extraordinary lady. She is amazing, incredible. And please have a piece of paper and a pen, because you're going to want to take down some of these gold nuggets she's going to drop. She already did some behind the scenes in the virtual green room. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Let me start the recording, because we don't want to miss none of this. So with that, we will go to a really quick video, and then we'll be right back with the Queen. Yes, we are back. If you're just tuning in, if you're just watching this screen, you are here at the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley, to be among the wonderful, extraordinary experts that give advice for life and business, as I always say, right down there. And I present royalty to you. I want to make sure I'm presenting that so you can understand, first of all, that the experts that's come on here, they are leaders, just like this queen that's sitting right next to me in the virtual group room. And also to make sure that you listen to Miss Queen Colonel Deb, because you never know what she'll say that might really just touch you, or make something that in your mind you're saying, I really need to talk to her a little bit longer. So please, please, I present the queen.
Aloha, Barbara.
How you doing, lady?
Oh,
I
happy to
was
be
just so in awe that I wanted to give you all this love and everything. I didn't really tell people that, she's a celebrity, everybody. She's a celebrity. She's going to get a little bit into her background, but I really wanted you to get the essence of who she is. And that's really important because if somebody can talk and touch your heart, that's more important. Yeah, now believe me, she has the credibility. Okay, we're not going to there's no lie of that. But with that said, with the love and the heart that she has, that just expounds. So, Colonel Deb, could you tell us, before we get into some really good things that I know you want to talk about, especially for women, is just give a little background for everybody.
Well, I grew up in a military family, and it was, moving around. My husband was a preacher's kid, so he moved around a lot, and I moved around a lot. And before I moved to Hawaii, I had moved 31 times. So moving, that causes stress. I don't care how hard you prepare for a move. You're never prepared for what happens during a move.
That's 31 times.
And before the internet, we would never see our friends again. I have maybe 2 friends from before high school. And so that was a challenge. But I made the decision. I consciously chose a highly stressful, but service-oriented task, much like our police and our firefighters and those in the medical profession, those who are serving and in contact with others. I chose to be in the first class with women at the United States Military Academy at West Point. It was the year that all the academies opened up to women because of an act of Congress. And I thank all the people who led to my being able to do that right out of high school. I was 18 years old, and I had all this confidence. I had two older brothers.
Wow.
I thought I could do anything. Well, I got a rude awakening when I got there, because when you think in hindsight, it's like, oh, yeah, other people treat us with this respect. And it's like, we didn't know any better. Sometimes you walk into things that you think, it's hard, but I can do it. And then you get slammed. And so we had 119 women out of a class of about 1,300, 1,400 cadets. And we graduated with 62 women after 4 years, and about a little bit over 900 for the whole class. So you can see we had a high attrition for the men, and they were blamed because they let us come. Okay, they let us come. Now, my husband happens to be a West Point in my class that I didn't know or meet, thankfully, until 17 years later. I met him 17 years later, and by then I could recognize a relationship that was built to last. But in that first day, now you can imagine being an 18-year-old woman, you arrive at West Point. Before that first day is over, the zipper, they had changed them to polyester zippers instead of strong silver or steel zippers. And my zipper broke on my pants. And they change you from a civilian to military. You have to march in a parade, and they give you the answers. Yes, sir. No, sir. No excuse, sir. Sir, I do not understand. Sir, can I have a safety pin to hold up my pants? Is not something you do when you ask. And it turned out, and I didn't know this, but about half the women zippers broke that first day.
Wow.
It was heavy. You can imagine heavyweight wool type material. And so you're trying to hold up your pants while you're learning the military steps. So everybody's watching, and many expected us to fail. They said we would fail. They said that women shouldn't be here. They said that we couldn't do it physically, emotionally, mentally. And then that's when I learned that something I'll never forget. I learned life doesn't have to be catastrophic to steal your best.
Mm.
Sometimes it's an embarrassing moment.
Yeah.
It can be a toxic person. It can be divorce. We talked about that. I was divorced twice. And now I'm on 3 decades with this amazing man. It could be just a comment where you just lose it. And that's why through all these experiences, and then I went on into the military. At the end of graduation, though, I have to say, they still were saying women shouldn't be in the military, although we literally, come on, we've been serving since the Revolutionary War.
Well, yeah.
Right? Since the very beginning. And 2 million women have served. And then I went into the regular military, the Army, and they had only been integrating fully women for allegedly 2 years, but it really was our year that they fully integrated because they had a separate women's Army Corps, but they were separate, separate and distinct. And then they meshed us together. So it was deja vu when I entered the military.
Wow.
But I have to tell you, Queen Barbara, it was some of the most amazing jobs I was given. Now, it was like doing it with one hand behind my back because of all the limitations, including running. And I think we talked about running before. That's not my strength, but I found out in the Army I could hang in there 4 to 12 miles, whatever they made us run. But it was not pretty and it wasn't nice, but it was, I was able to do that. And then, but along the way, for all these moments that could completely derail me, and it could steal my best, threatening to steal my best, because you go into that mode of being angry and wanting to fight and the injustice. And it's not helpful. No. It may feel good in the moment, but it actually undermines your credibility. If we had a conversation before and I yelled at you, Barbara, how long would you remember that?
For a while.
And that's why 50 years later, we know exactly which cadets yelled at us just to yell at us and shape us up. Some people feel that they have to be a jerk to get you to do something. No, the thing that lasts is inspiring. And so I did have examples of that, few and far between, but I did have examples of that. And they were the ones that I locked into. And that's why, over time, I created this body of knowledge that became stress intelligence. We spend a lifetime, women, I'm learning, and I'm no exception. So one you talked about, we're not alone. We are not alone in our feelings and how we do things, but most of us spend a lifetime of thinking this thought, and it's when things don't go right, what's wrong with me? Why can't I? And that's shame. And shame is not a good place to be. But about 80% of women sadly go there. And so and then imagine me after graduation, they're still saying shouldn't be there, never should be in combat, all that. And then 26 years after graduation, I'm commanding a $2.1 billion engineer command in combat.
How old were you when you started? What age were you at that time?
At 30 to 18, so 48. 48. Yeah, I was 48. Wow. And they still thought I looked young.
Well, you're still beautiful. Yes, I can see that. I can see that, Queen. But how long altogether were you serving?
30 years active military plus 4 years at the academy. So you can count that for some things, but 34 years in uniform, military uniform.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, and since but when I left the military, and so many veterans, and I encourage anyone who knows a veteran, when you retire from the military, you have been part of something just, as we talked about, extraordinary. You you are serving at the potential cost of your life.
Yes. Yes.
There were a number of times where my life was at risk.
Yeah.
You serve, and I know the people who worked for me and others who lost their lives. You know, no one's promised another day, but serving others is so rewarding. What do you do as a follow-on act? And I had to create an affirmation that worked for me.
Yes.
And I decided that I would make an even greater contribution after my military service than during. And that's a bar I'm working on, and you're helping me, honey.
Well, we're helping each other, but I just want to first of all, before we get into more good golden nuggets you have, is thank you for your, for serving. Thank you for basically saying, putting my life to the side. Basically, I always tell people when they go in, they're putting their life to the side and just say they're just doing it for us. And I'm not gonna get on my soapbox about this because you mentioned about, the veterans and how they come out. I know a lot of veterans, including you now, that there's the fairness is not there, after. And I always get really, really, and I had to really let this anger go, Queen, because I'm like, how can you not? I mean, you should be getting the red carpet every day. That's what I look for at veterans. You should be getting the red carpet every day after you retired because of what you did. You just said, you know what? I'm going to serve our country and go over there and do what I need to do. I mean, you could have been doing anything else in your life. You could have picked anything else you wanted to do. But for 30-something years, Queen, you decided, you know what? I'm going to serve somebody else. That is right there. You talking about leadership at its best? That's servant leadership. Yes.
I thank you for that. I just want you to know that most veterans don't want any attention on us. I'm happy to have my subordinates and those I worked with shine because, we are put in these extraordinary circumstances, but we are ordinary. We feel very ordinary. We just happen to be, and I happen to be so fortunate to be in that time and place that I could not just be there, but I could excel there. And I didn't realize how all that training and all that understanding and experience paid off until I was in combat. You talk about helping people thrive. I will tell you, I thrived in a combat environment. Do that because we talked earlier about how many people get stuck in the negative. The people get stuck in the negative and they don't know what to do. And so I'd love to convince even one of the women listening that you can be extraordinary and you don't have to have it all shine on you. It's just you. What did you accomplish? Did you help children see a better future in a time of struggle? Did you inspire somebody? And I really think that helping people see that and helping them contribute can take away, because we have these caring, incredibly talented women and men too, but they're struggling. They are absolutely struggling for so many reasons to make a difference in this often brutal world. We talked before about, being on a horse and I get knocked off, you will get knocked down, but I like to think about Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman with the shield, and I'll show you in a minute. Yeah. And she'd go to her knees and she'd slide, flying by. Or we talked about the Matrix, doing thing where stuff is coming at you. And unfortunately, because they don't feel they can see the opportunity, they lose themselves. They lose their joy. They lose their health because that's what gets affected. And I thought for years that strength meant just enduring whatever life threw at me. And then I realized something far more important. I realized that life situations, those challenges that we have to meet each day that we don't plan for. You and I, we didn't plan for coming back three times we came back? These pressures.
We persevered, Queen.
Right. And they don't just test us. they can steal our best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when it steals the best, we know it. Bodily, we know it. We may deny it in our brain, but it really does, because now we have a short fuse. I had one of my employees used to say, well, they just have to accept me as I am. I'm like, no. I brought in a mediator, and I said, and the other thing is, many people don't believe they're leaders. Every one of you are leaders. Yeah. Everyone's a leader. You're modeling behavior for somebody.
Yes.
And when I brought when we brought the mediator in, she said, do you realize how you affect this leadership group? And she's like, oh, I don't do that. And we're like, it didn't need to come from me. That was the other thing, is that if you're in the leadership position, if something like that goes a bit sideways, it's much better to have someone else with you to be able to be that feedback to that individual. And by the end of it, I won't say it became perfect, but she definitely stopped thinking about, that maybe I don't need to say that or do that. And so we don't want it to steal our best. And so the answer isn't just to simply cope better, which I know how to do. I can cope. But if you can actually strengthen and protect your heart, which is where I get into stress intelligence. If you can strengthen and protect your heart, you're going to make better choices, and you're going to see much better outcomes today. And what I call infinite win. You don't know what your one action in that time, in that moment, because if you've lost your compassion and kindness, this isn't going to happen. But if you hold on to that in moments where you're certain that other person did something, you're about this close to being certain, and you pull back and you realize that's not a good strategy.
No.
Anything that has to do with survival mode thinking, which I think hopefully everybody knows what this is. You should have a big neon sign whenever that shows up, whether it's you or someone else. But fight, flight, shutting down, where you have someone in the room and they are just completely almost comatose. I call it turn out the light. Someone turned out their light. If you go to that, or someone else where you're with goes to that, you can't progress. You have to stop. You have to, and you can't say, just stop. You ever had someone tell you, just stop doing that?
Yeah.
How'd that work?
It didn't work out well. It didn't.
Exactly.
I wish I could say that all the time and it will, just work.
And I have people, tell me they spoke in anger with intent. And I'm thinking, okay. How's that working
for you?
Because it's really, I've never seen it work.
No,
so seeing possibility where others see obstacles, usually those times are the greatest possibility for transformation.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
But you have to uncover it.
Yeah.
It could be buried in poo.
A lot, and it could be bearing a lot of that.
A lot of that. But you have to be able to see past it. Yeah. The obvious. I use an iceberg a lot to discuss some of the things, because the top one, if you're waiting for someone to harm themselves in the top, imagine all the stuff that's below that. And maybe that solution is only by uncovering and figuring out that. Can you get to a transformation that's going to help that person? People want to help, but oftentimes one of the tools that I've collected is, if you hear someone in a meeting, let's say we're at the end of a meeting, something important's being discussed, it's lunchtime, and the person in charge goes, does anyone have any questions? Do you think anyone's going to answer that? No.
They're ready to look at their content.
Exactly. But if I said, Queen Barbara, I know it's almost lunchtime. I know we're getting short on time. But you have been studying this issue for 20 years. Please, this group really wants to hear what you have to share with us.
See, that's good. Yes.
It's just one way to open other people up and allow them to be their best.
Yeah, their best.
Instead of letting the anger and all the things that are going wrong steal our best, How
Mhm.
can we do it? I
And
have yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to add to that, Queen, when you said that, when you're giving them that opportunity to open up, you also, the person sees you as a person that they can trust and that cares about what they have to say. And that's just so important as a leader and just as a person, you know, overall. Yeah.
Yes. 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 Because I said life pressures, all challenges, they can steal your best. Because why? How do I know that? I lived it. I lived it. And I made a lot of mistakes, right? So I created this stress intelligence so that primarily women and the men who love the women can help them stay at their best when it matters most.
Yeah.
And then you can help others. We have a deep passion to help other people. But how can we possibly do that if we're not at our best?
That it always starts with us first, right? Always. I always tell people that. Yeah.
And I even yesterday, I was testing my husband. He thought we should do something one way. And I had a different idea. And I waited him out. And I eventually got it my way. Did he yell at me? No. Did he knows me well enough that when you have a plan and there are a large group of people, substantial group of people, they just want to work that plan.
Yeah.
But if there's an opportunity and there's also changing conditions, this is what is huge in life.
Yeah.
The conditions are changing all the time.
Yeah.
And if that happens and then new information came in and I'm like, okay, let me reassess how can I best handle it now and do that. But he had a plan and he felt he was right. And bless his heart, he didn't get mad. He didn't raise his voice. He just did what he did. And I did what I did. And we know how to maneuver. And guess what, ladies? You can have a relationship without ever having to yell at each other. Doesn't mean you don't have different opinions. Yeah. Very opinionated. And so is he. But it doesn't mean that you have to, if you disagree, that you've got to bully the other person to reach that conclusion that they have, which isn't yours, and it doesn't feel right.
I love that. I'm glad you brought that up, Queen. You hit so many different topics. It's like I need to bring you for the second hour of this or something. I really do. We need to bring you back because there's just so many things that you uncovered that I would really like for you to get more in detail about it. But I mean, I think the biggest thing that I'm glad that you brought up is understanding to find your strength, right? Making those decisions, making sure you don't lose yourself, and joy. Because, it's one thing, and I want to bring this up before, because I want to give you some seconds to do some lasting thoughts. But it's one thing to find the strength, get courage, do what you have to do, go through your life. But if you don't have the joy and you're not happy with yourself, then that doesn't really work. It doesn't work out. It's unbalanced, right?
And women know it, and they lose sleep over it, and their body gets all knotted up. And so here's one feeling we can leave with the audience is that your life maybe hasn't been trying to destroy you. Sometimes I have friends where one thing after another's gone wrong in their life, as far as what the plan was or what you would expect. And oftentimes it turns into health, and loved ones may be passing, and businesses that aren't taking off, and just so many things. But maybe life, when we pay attention, is just trying to prepare us. It's trying to help teach us so that we can learn how to stay at our best and find those opportunities. And so if we can convince even one of your listeners that she can be extraordinary too, but you have to pay attention. And if I may, just real quickly with my 3 symbols to help cement this. Let's cement this, right?
You know what? In fact, I'm going to take myself down so they can see you completely.
Okay.
I want them to see you all the way with me gone.
It's no surprise we have military symbols, but this, I want everyone to see, represents Athena's helmet. Now, Athena was the goddess of war, but she was also the goddess of wisdom. And there's a reason why she is heralded today and awards go out on the Athena Award, because that wisdom was so important to hold on to. And survival mode thinking, here's the tip, throws you off of wisdom. It hijacks your wisdom, in fact. But wisdom, we want to protect our wisdom always. And another thing to remember is we are human beings and the world has a lot of energy. And sometimes we know about mirror neurons quite well. You don't even have to be there. You just have to be around someone who has that feeling and is emoting that vibration. And shame, again, is the worst vibration. Love is the minimum of where we want to be. But if it's toxic around you, here's my shield. Notice this is a heart. You're protecting your heart with the shield. You're protecting your wisdom. And when you're really good, you protect anyone who's near you. And then the third one, because life can be incredibly challenging. I've had people who have been screaming and spitting 2 inches from my face, trying to get me to do something or trying to shame me, is the sword. This is not meant to skewer them. It is meant to deflect any direct attacks. And I'll give you just one example of a tool that can be used in all 3 ways. And that is the effective question. And we talked about one of those in our discussion today at the end of a meeting. Imagine if you came up with a question that could literally solve and deflect the negative direction you were going and solve that issue you were doing. So I wanted to share that. And I do have one more tool, but I want to bring Barbara back because I need you for this one. So is that any questions on those tools?
No, I'm glad I took myself down. I really wanted you to explain that and show that because that was powerful.
Yeah,
yes.
Those are things I think about every day. What do I need? Sometimes I put my hand on my heart. If someone's yelling at me, taught me, put your hand on your heart. And a better thing, if you can do it, is you stand sideways. So the energy, like martial arts, energy goes by you when someone's in a toxic place.
Wow.
Okay. Does that make sense? Because in the past, how I learned the hard way is I would stand there
and take it.
Someone be yelling at me and I said, I can take it. And if they were yelling at someone else, I would stand in front of that other person and take it. Oh, wow. And then 2 hours later, I felt horrible. And I finally figured out that's not a practical, helpful way. So I had to come up with something better. And that's what I've been doing. Very practical ways to approach to become this body of knowledge, to be able to, whatever situation you're facing, that there's a way to think about it. And there's a way to respond, not react, but respond, to hold on to your heart and your joy and your love, and still influence what's going on in front of you. And the one way that if we have time, I don't know if we do, but the one way that is really challenging, and people walk away with this one and use it sometimes that night, is what we lose in the moment when we're highly, highly stressed with unhealthy influences, like a person yelling or whatever, or for me, it can be being late for a meeting. I don't want to be late for a meeting.
Me too.
But this is something you can use driving, and I call it the waterfall method. It's the waterfall breathing technique. It's a 10-second reset. 10-second reset that when you get great at it, it only takes one time to do it. Now, when you're learning it probably takes more than that. Or if it's really, really high stress, you want to do it whatever it will help calm you. But it takes advantage of our bodies and what's been happening under unhealthy stress, like panic attacks and things. And what you do is you breathe through your nose, because this device has been created to oxygenate your brain to the highest level, not your mouth, but your nose. So you want to breathe in through your nose and pretend that the air is like a waterfall. Powerful waterfalls can cleanse everything. And so we have toxic goo that's been residing in us, however old we are. and when you breathe in that clean air like a waterfall, it comes in, and then you're going to breathe out through your mouth. And if you've ever breathed out and put your hand up, it's hot. And just think of that as the goo leaving your body. All those toxic memories. So it's 3 seconds in through your nose, and then it's 7 seconds out through your mouth. Okay, now you have to practice, because many people run out of air on the 7 seconds. Would you like to help it? You have been through so much, Queen Barbara, that we haven't even gotten to the tip of all you have done. It's a clear example of, I find the happiest people are not the ones with the easiest life. They're the ones who have been challenged and have learned how to choose to be happy. And that's you. This is a technique that you can, in 10 seconds, can help get you back to your best self, or at least something better than running off going, this is terrible, this is terrible, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to talk you through it. Remember, 3 seconds through your nose, 10 seconds out through your mouth. Are you ready? Okay, I'm going to have a bell. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. Now exaggerate. Out through the mouth, 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You almost ran out, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I think after the 3 seconds, I was like, I got to practice that.
Right. Okay, now test your body.
Okay.
What do you think? Did anything shift a little bit?
Yeah, I felt a little bit more lighter. Yeah.
Feel lighter? Maybe a little calmer?
Yeah.
Because it's intense. You're doing interviews. Most people don't want to talk in front of one person. It's like one of the most stressful things they can face. And here you are doing this, but you've been doing it for so many times. Would you say 3,500 episodes or 2,500 episodes, something like that? And you now, but your body is remembering. And so calming and bringing that. So imagine I'm driving to a meeting and I start thinking these thoughts. Oh gosh, I'm late again. It's like, oh, what's going to happen? And imagine me driving, keep my eyes open, no accidents, please. And then I do the 10-second reset. And then I tell myself, I'm going to arrive exactly when I need to. Is there anything else that I need to consider or I could call or do before I get there to make it even better? But it's going to be fine. And everything is going to work out perfectly. So it's a different mindset, and it's a different talk with myself than, oh my God, I'm late. And then by the time you get there, you're so amped up.
Yeah, it's like
you can't doing it. So if we can help them to teach each of us to differently look at those stressful situations, we can make it that opportunity instead of something that's harming us.
Yes. Wow. Thank you. I mean, you did full pack in this minute.
I know, I can't help it.
Stuff for us that is like, oh my God, I gotta go. See, this is why I want to go back and just keep, just watching you and taking notes and watching and watching.
And that's the best way to learn, because I have so many. I have a model for just about everything, but these are things that can at least change a life, maybe in that moment when you're at your absolute worst.
Yes.
But imagine if you can control that, what if you control the rest of your life? 24/7, that you become more self-aware. You come more aware of how to look at every situation.
Yes.
And I have like 5 coaches now. I need people to help me see the opportunities that are in front of me.
Yeah.
And because we can have what we call the scotoma. We may not be able to see it. And so usually it's buried under adversity.
Yeah.
And when we get really good, that's why people can't understand why firefighters love their jobs, or police love their jobs, or military, that we love our jobs, knowing how dangerous and how stressful the moments can be. But yet you can learn. And instead of going to these negative interception strategies that don't help us and make our lives worse, we can deal with it and get so much better, and envision what we want to be.
Yes. And I'm just so glad, Queen, that, through everything that your experience and everything that you have, especially from 18. I don't know, I can see the 18-year-old you. We can do, I can see you, and then you get in there, you're like, oh, this is not really what I thought it was. But you took that and you used it. What I'm trying to say is you used that for your training grounds, like you said, to have those skills. And like I always tell people, those transferable skills are so powerful because
they transform your life.
Yeah. So everything that you learned and grew and looked at experience and everything like that, I always tell people, you take that in your everyday life and what you do. That wasn't in vain at all. That was there for a reason. Yeah.
And I think the best thing about it is I can see potential, the potential in people that they're not seeing it, and helping them live into their potential. We as human beings have vast potential to do great things. Right now, we're kind of being led in a direction, and that often happens in life, that strong personalities can pull us in a direction that really sounds good, but I never mistake motion for action. And if we can be strong and listen to our hearts and be kind, compassionate, and creative, some of my solutions are very creative, but it works. I'm a practical gal. I'm an engineer. We look for solutions. We look for opportunities. And if we do that, we actually have done that. All of us are engineers with our life. We've built our life to be what it is today. Yes. And if we don't like it, sometimes you got to take it down to the ground and rebuild it.
That's what I tell people. If you don't like it, it's that bad, everything, hey, redo, reconstruct.
We speak the same language, Queen Barbara. We absolutely do. And I think that is connected because of hardship and adversity. I really do. We can be an empath. We can be sensitive to those feelings and know when it's off, and be better about what we do next. And if we can help one person make better choices in their life,
that's, to me,
isn't that rewarding?
Yes, very rewarding. Very, very rewarding, Queen.
They don't have to learn our hard way.
I keep telling them that. I was like, don't do what Barbara did, don't do what Barbara did. It's like, I'm trying to tell you here.
I didn't protect myself for the wisdom for many times.
That's what I'm saying. In fact, you didn't even have it on sometimes. Like me either. So yeah. So if that, like you said, a person can, from you or what you said today, everything you said today, if they can take that and really know that they are strong, they're encouraged, and they can be happy and have joy. I'm so glad that you reached that one person. But I know you're going to reach more than one. I know you're going to reach more than one.
Together, Queen Barbara, together we continue to reach people. Yes. And I look at, what's one of the toughest things happening now? Women are losing their jobs in record numbers. Okay. And anyone who is a certain color is losing their job in record numbers. And all I can say is my good friend Laura Stewart once wrote a chapter. It said, walk away to win. Sometimes you have to walk away to this peace, even though you're so attached to it and how it is, you have to walk away to win.
Yeah. There's always a reason for everything. I tell people, I said, get the lesson learned from what's going on around you, what's going on in you, and then you'll be your best. And that's what I always tell people. So, Queen. Okay,
yes, let's do it.
Okay, I know I have to close. So with that, because I just love talking to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on the show and taking the time, because I always tell people you can be doing anything else right now, but you came and spend time with me, spend time on the Coaches Lounge to really reach others, especially as women, So I really commend you and thank you. And thank you for your service again. Thank you for your service.
And I thank all your listeners for all they do for others each and every day. That is so valuable. Thank you. Thank you for hosting this for so many people to highlight what a great concept. And you continue to deliver. I applaud you, Queen Barbara.
Queen Colonel Deb Lewis. I love it. You're always going to remember me because I'm always going to say that every time I talk to you. So with that, everybody, please just show love. As I always say, and we always say, here is where I spotlight experts' advice for life and in business. But I always want to make sure you understand to spotlight yourself and the gifts that you have that God has given you, because that's so important. That's why I tell everybody, you are the lighthouses to the world. And each and every one of us, just like Colonel Queen said, that we are our own leaders. You are a leader in whatever you're doing. So just shine and understand that you are helping somebody else, not just yourself, but you're helping all those people around you because you're shining your light. With that said, we'll see you at the next Coaches Lounge with another expert. And as I always say, keep shining. You are a lighthouse to the world.